What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. This week, we're going to start discussing the fight that we just watched this past weekend from UFC Abu Dhabi with Cory Sandhagen and UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV. We're also going to take a look at some of the rankings, some of the future fights that we see, and how these matchups are going to look after this past fight card. We also deep dive into some of the upcoming fights and things that just recently got announced in upcoming pay-per-views, UFC 306, 307, 308, then 309 in November with Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic, and what that's going to look like with the heavyweight division, how things are all going to shake out. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and leave us a comment down below on what pay-per-view event you're most looking forward to at the end of the year. And if you're listening to this podcast, audio-only version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music, don't forget to rate the show 5 stars and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any of our future episodes. Peace.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
Don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Never there. Half a pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
We really are going to have to change the intro now, I think.
That's very upsetting, isn't it? Just to hear it. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. It just doesn't hit right anymore.
It does not hit the same.
Damn, son.
Well, then let's make the announcement now. Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, don't forget to turn on automatic downloads. If you're watching us over on the YouTube channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave us some comments down below as we go throughout our discussion this evening. We're going to be recapping our fight night we watched this past Saturday afternoon, another early fight night, UFC Abu Dhabi, Cory Sandhagen versus UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV, and yeah. But yeah, so this is probably, I'm going to have to get to work because that just hurt my soul listening to our intro with Leon on it. And it
that was upsetting. It just doesn't hit right anymore.
It does not at all have the same impact. It certainly does not have the same impact. And yeah.
Are we going to have to put, remember the name?
This will be the last episode. It's an end of an era. This is the last episode with Leon Edwards' soundbite on the intro.
Damn. Rest in peace.
Moment of silence for that.
Moment of silence.
All right. Well, anyway.
We're back, son.
We're back. UFC
We're
Abu
back.
Dhabi
Murphy's back.
Was Saturday. I'm back.
Let's go.
All right. Let me ask you this question. I'm going to start off hot.
Start off hot, baby. Go ahead.
Is Cory Sandhagen overrated?
No. He's not overrated. I think he fought better than I would have expected him to against a guy who has the background of Umar, to be fair. I didn't know what to expect. I knew Umar was good. Cory hasn't fought in a while, so it's really hard to judge. But I think his takedown defense was really good, man. Like
his takedown defense was great. Yes.
Like I truly believe that he's definitely where he's ranked is right. Top 5 is correct. I think so.
Yeah, I mean he beat guys like Rob Font, he beat guys like Cheeto.
Yep.
He lost to guys like Peter Yan, which Yan is 3. So yeah, I mean maybe a fringe top 5 guy. I wanted to ask the question because obviously this was kind of touted as a number 1 contender fight for the winner of O'Malley versus Merab that we're going to get at UFC Noche in September.
Yep.
Which I guess we get Umar there or maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see
we are.
This kind
we
of
are. Dana confirmed it.
Okay, so Umar gets winner.
Winner of the he gets winner.
So then,
now I don't know if that's he gets winner unless Sean O'Malley loses, or he gets winner regardless. I don't know.
Right. We'll see
Yeah.
what the rematch situation ends up being. But then, I mean, where do you end up? I mean, this a part of this card also. Davis and Figueiredo gets a win over Cheeto Vera at UFC Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Cheeto was the number 4 ranked bantamweight. Davis and Figueiredo was 6. I would assume, looking at the rankings, with Sandhagen losing to the number 10, Sandhagen being 2, Jan is 3, Cheeto was 4, he's 6. I mean, Davison has to at least go to 4. I would argue that he probably goes to 3 and Peter Yan goes to 2 and Cory goes to
4
or 5.
I agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So then you get maybe Figgy Peter Yan.
Yeah, no, I said that last night. That was like the first thing that popped into my head. I was like, oh, that would be a banger.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people still forget, like, Petr Yan, up until the time he got fucking, DQ'd for kneeing fucking Aljamain in the face.
Right.
Like, he was scary, bro. I feel like that was the turning point of his career, and it really affected him. Like, because he was that close to being a champion. And then, that happened. Like, that would suck the fun out of anyone's fucking success.
Right. And then he lost the decision to Aljo.
Then he lost the decision. Yeah.
A
controversial one.
Right.
He
lost to O'Malley, which was a controversial decision as well. But yeah, I mean, he's still up there, top 3 of bantamweight rankings right now. So it makes it interesting. But so we obviously in September at the Sphere, UFC Noche, have O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili.
Yep.
And then so the winner of that fight will fight UMAR Nurmagomedov, who wins a decision against Cory. How did you feel about the decision? It was
fair. It was fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Cory, he got outstruck and he got, out grappled the whole fight.
Right.
I don't think he fought the correct fight. I think he probably trained a little too hard on takedown defense instead of worrying about letting his true skills go in his hands because he was too worried about getting taken down. But I don't know why he didn't do that in the second or third round. Like, once he knew that he could stop the up close takedowns after throwing a kick or something like that, I don't know why he didn't just let his hands go. Like, I'll never understand that about fighters. Like, if you're in the 4th and 5th round and you're losing, like, what's the difference between losing a decision or just going out on your shield and getting knocked out? Like, I don't understand it. Like, why not try to win?
Yeah. At least in the 4th or the 5th. I mean,
yeah,
it all kind of depends on what the corner's telling you, where you're at in the fight. I think there was a chance he could have won 1 round. I don't know what the scorecards read. I don't remember off the top of my head, but to me, yeah, I agree. I don't think it was close. The best thing that Cory did in that fight was stop takedowns.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, he had a few shots, but Umar was clearly better in the striking battle, clearly better in the grappling battle. Like, Cory had escapes, stand up on takedowns and stop takedowns, but other than that, like, there were also moments where Umar threatened him on the ground, had him in positions where he threatened submissions. There was points where Cory was obviously in danger. There was never a point really where Umar was in danger.
Like, was it the second round where he got the reversal and kind of like held him there for a whole round? Is that Cory who did that?
Something like that. Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, he did get some shots on the ground at one time. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like, I watched the thing today, guys talking about, they always like kind of tout Cory, how cerebral of a fighter Cory is and how good his striking is. And
he only outstruck him in 1 round, the first round. That's it.
Right.
I'm trying so hard to like figure out where his game plan was going into that 5th round. Like, your back's up against the wall, you're losing the fight, and you go out and get outstruck 2-1 in the 5th round to a guy who you should be better at striking.
Well, or we just really learned something about Umar Nurmagomedov, right? Like, we knew that Umar, before when he was younger as a child and stuff, like before training with Khabib and learning wrestling from Khabib, had a kickboxing background, right? So his striking is solid. Striking is very good. He's fast, dude. It seemed like he had the more powerful shots. He was faster. I don't know. I asked the question, is Cory Sandhagen overrated? Just because after watching that, like kind of to your point, you're like, we can sit here and say all these good things about Cory, but like at the same time, like, what fucking good are your stance switches and all this like shit that you do if you don't actually fucking hit the other guy?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it means nothing. It means nothing.
You know what it also does? It also raises a question though. How good is that one guy though that Umar fought last fight who almost knocked him out in the first round and ended up going to a 3-round decision?
Almakan, yeah. So that's another guy from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, like where's that guy
who got out grappled, but
he did get out grappled.
He clipped Umar in the first round and could have finished that fight in the first round. Umar, actually, I think he said he was out, right? And he came back up and he was right there on a leg, so he just grabbed the leg.
Yep.
Yeah. Almakan, what's that guy's first name?
Amzat.
Bakhzat.
Bakhzat. Yeah.
Bakhzat.
Where's that guy been at? Why isn't he getting a top 15 guy or something?
Well, they just fought in March.
Okay, so maybe we get him at a later date.
Yeah. And I mean, that was his UFC debut, and he took Umar Nurmagomedov, who
to
now is fighting for a title. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, we'll probably get him back at some point as well here shortly. But yeah, I mean, I just, really disappointing to see that kind of performance from Cory. And I don't know if this is too early to say. I don't think it is. I think the bantamweight division's too good. Cory never holds gold.
I agree with you on that. I'll admit that, especially after last night. I don't think he wins a title again. And if the only way he does is if he just somehow sharpens those hands like extremely well.
He would have to go on a real serious run and beat some guys that he hasn't shown the ability to beat as of yet.
Oh, he's going to have to beat O'Malley.
He's going to never fight O'Malley.
I know, but if O'Malley loses against Merab, it's fair to say that is a stylistic good matchup to see.
But he's not. Yeah, but then you have guys like Peter Yan. All the guys we've already talked about that are now ahead of Cory.
Sure.
That's my point. He just moved himself back so far with this loss.
Yeah, he did.
In my opinion, with how deep the bantamweight division is.
But then again, though, you got to think about it this way. He was the only one that would accept a fight against Umar. Everyone else turned it down, and he didn't. So, to his defense, I mean, there's a thing to say when someone is loyal to the game and is willing to do what the boss needs them to do. And if no one else would do it, and he did it, regardless if he loses or wins, that could definitely give him a little bit of, kudos for the next go around. Like, hey, man, I fucking took this fight. No one else would fight this guy. Now this guy's getting a title shot because of me. At least let me get a chance to show myself against someone else,
Right. We see it all the time, too. You never know what can happen with, short notice opportunities. And,
sure.
People drop out and lower ranked people take advantage of opportunities they're given and things like that. So, but the way the current landscape of the bantamweight division looks, I don't, at this moment in time anyway, see any pathway to where Cory Sandhagen is ever bantamweight champion in the UFC. I agree. I don't see it. I think I agree with you. I think he can hold that top 5 ranking. I think he can kind of be like a, maybe Gaethje, Dustin Poirier-esque fighter for the bantamweight division, where he kind of gatekeeps that top 5. But yeah, I just don't see a path. I don't see a path.
I agree.
But anyway, there was some other, this fight card was just filled with decisions.
Oh, it was very boring at first, man. When it started off, it was shit.
But the main card, and we'll just keep it on the main card.
Sure.
Really. But the main card, same thing. A lot of decisions, but were great fights, like the Chito Vera Davison Figueiredo fight Great fight.
I mean, even the first fight of the night, Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner, was a banger.
Yeah, Joel Alvarez got performance of the night for that.
Yeah, those fucking guys were beating the shit out of Elvis Brenner needs to be tested for some crazy shit because that man is tough as bricks, dude.
Him and Cheeto, dude.
Dude, that guy's tough, bro. He was getting his shit rocked, and I was like, how is this guy not fucking dead?
Right. And he finally got TKO in the third round. Joel Alvarez gets the win. Also got a performance of the night bonus for that.
And I'm pretty sure he's 20-3, dude. Like, he's got a good record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible.
Absolutely.
And his only losses are to like guys who are like really fucking good. I mean, his last loss was against Arman Tsarukyan, you know?
Right. For sure.
So,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's on a heater. Other than that loss to Tsarukyan, that's
his first loss. That was his first loss in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's not bad.
You have a guy that really should be fighting for a title minus suspension. So, Mackenzie Dern, Lupe Godinez, solid fight. I think
it was okay fight. I mean, Mackenzie Dern
fight.
did Mackenzie Dern. I think somebody said it too. It may have been MMA Guru. I think it was like if it goes to a decision, Mackenzie Dern's going to win every single time. You have to knock her out or submit her inside the distance.
Yeah. Well, in this matchup, like watching this fight, Lupe Godinez just like couldn't really do nothing to her.
No, I think the size played a factor. To be fair,
yeah,
because Mackenzie Dern was a little bit. She looked big. Dude. She looks bigger than for sure.
Yeah, she definitly did. And then
thicker than her. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. I mean, there's one thing that I look forward to on a Mackenzie Dern fight. It's the day before at the Mackenzie Dern ceremonial weigh-ins.
Or full mounts.
Or full mounts too. Which she got a couple of those against Lupe Godinez. So
it was funny, man. The cameraman didn't miss during the weigh-in. They made it very apparent of where they were aiming for, you know?
Yeah, they weren't playing. All right, let's talk about the sad, the bad, and the ugly.
He's done.
We got to talk about it all. Dude. We got to talk about it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about the bad and the ugly. The sad. Tony Ferguson gets submitted in the first round against Michael Chiesa.
That was tough.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. And maybe it's because he himself didn't come out and say he was retiring before this fight. He actually didn't even say it after the fight, but before the fight. Explain to me why Michelle Watterson Gomez gets a fucking movie made after, and Tony Ferguson is like, just like, are you retiring, dude, or what? Like, what the fuck?
Because I feel like because these fighters who are going to retire, they make it apparent first, so these UFC can prepare for shit like that. Tony Ferguson's such a fucking wild card. The guy threw one glove in the fucking center of the octagon and was like, I'm semi-retired, and then punched his glove. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
I know. Yeah.
But shout out to Michael Chiesa, though. Like, dude, that's some class-ass shit, dude. Like, you submit the guy first round, you get the mic put on you. How did you perform? He goes, man, this mic is not for me. It's for him. And
like, love my family. Thanks for everybody being here.
But this ain't my moment.
Time to Tony Ferguson. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tony Ferguson proceeds to not
I know. What are we doing? Like, what are we, Tony?
I don't think Dana gives him another fight, to be fair. I mean, but then again, Andrei Arlovski fought fucking way past his prime.
Yeah, but was he getting wins? I feel like Andrei Arlovski every once in a while would get a win.
I'll make a point, though. He was getting wins, yes, against very low competition. Tony Ferguson has his last eight losses were not against low competition.
No doubt.
Whatsoever. No doubt. So if you're going to give him a fight next, give him like a damn, a rookie
prospect.
Yeah. Like give him something to give him a little bit of confidence to go out on, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like you did Robbie Lawler. You gave Robbie Lawler fucking Nico Price. Like,
yeah. I mean, he also knocked Nico Price the fuck out and then rode off into the sunset. Yeah, so, Tony, I mean, he's lost 8 in a row, bro.
I know.
This has to be it, dude. We can't stop, like, keep pretending that this is ever this is gonna change. It's not. Like,
it's not.
You can tell
he didn't look good at all either. He looked bad.
He hasn't looked good I can't. I think that knockout against Michael Chandler,
really affected him.
yeah,
100%.
that's the point in time, and maybe it was earlier than that, but that's the point in time specifically that I can remember the most drastic fall off.
Downfall,
So like
yeah.
obviously before that fight, he had declined, gets brutally knocked out by Michael Chandler, front kick to the face. I mean, it was ugly.
Yeah.
And then I feel like since that point, it's been just a rocket downhill. Like
Agreed.
not just a slow decline. I mean, it is like a straight drop. And
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. I just wish he was a little bit more focused and cared about himself a little bit more instead of just trying to relive the heydays. Like, come on, man. Just hang him up, dude. Like, and maybe he just doesn't want to hang him up because he doesn't know what life is like without fighting. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a mental warfare he fights every day. I mean, the guy was one of the only guys to complete Hell Week at his age. That's insane.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like he's not tough. The guy is mentally like tough. Yeah. So it's like maybe he just fights this mental battle with himself of like, I just don't want to give it up. Like, that's all I have, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's got a wife, he's got a couple kids. It's a weird thing, but the thing is like he can't compete. Like he just can't compete anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, you watch him throw there's just I don't see. It's ugly. Like it doesn't even look good. It doesn't,
no, it doesn't.
Like he's slow. There's no power. Like yeah. Ugh. Every time I'm just like, bro, holy fuck. Like I feel like we're just feeding him to people. Like, here, just give him another one. Give him another one. I think it's time. It's past time.
I agree.
Like after this, especially, dude, just
what do y'all think?
Who else was
if you're listening, should he retire? Should he not retire? Let's let the people answer.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to say the same.
Yeah. Drop a comment. Let us know. Should Tony retire? Should he keep one fucking glove? I don't know. Whatever the fuck that is.
Bare knuckle.
Which he also threw the glove into the stands, by the way.
The one glove?
The one he kept. He threw it in the fucking stands as he left. And I was like, okay, now I'm totally lost.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Crazy.
But so yeah, just ugly, dude. Shout out to Michael Chiesa though. I know he's kind of on the end of his rope, but
yeah, like what's next for him? I mean,
but that's the difference though, right? Like you see the difference between the two. They're both at the end, but like Michael Chiesa still has power, still has speed.
He didn't look bad.
He looked dangerous.
Yeah,
Tony doesn't look dangerous, dude.
No. He didn't at all.
Tony looks like a baby, just a little kid in there.
Like you don't want to hit him too hard. You might break his leg.
Yeah, we fucking kill him or something, dude. Like fuck, man. But I don't know. I mean, either way, for an early card for a UFC fight night, I think it delivered. SHARA Magomedov, decision.
I mean, his striking is just so weird. It's so weird, and it's good, man. It's weirdly good.
Yeah, SHARA, his kicks come from everywhere, brother. Everywhere.
Dude, I'm more impressed with how he fights off his back.
Yeah.
His ability to throw elbows off his back, it's sick.
Yeah, so the one was it his first fight in the UFC, I think? That he did win. Obviously, he's had 3 in the UFC now. His first fight in the UFC,
first fight he won by knockout, I think.
But he was getting bullied on the ground. Like he was
getting wrestled like crazy. Yeah,
his grappling looked super suspect. Like holy fuck, this is gonna be bad eventually. But he's obviously since tightened that up. Like he must have went hard on that. Because he looks like he could be a contender. Like if he can hold off the grappling, I don't know many people that can stand with him. You know what I mean?
It's gonna
at
be tough.
185 pounds. You're gonna the elite strike, the Israel Adesanyas and those types of guys. But he's just, dude, he's big, he's strong.
Yeah,
his fucking kicks, man, they're
weird.
They're so weird. He throws them from every distance, at every angle, off the fence, back against the fence. He's throwing. It's just he doesn't stop. Like that's the thing. You would think that he looks like a guy where cardio would be an issue.
Sure.
I don't know why I say that. The eye test to me, he looks like somebody that's like, oh, he's gonna get.
That's no jab
tired.
at his one eye, though, right?
Nah,
The eye test.
Nah.
He failed that department.
Yeah, but like, he doesn't. He just keeps throwing. He just keeps throwing the whole time, and he gets a decision. So shout out to him. But again, solid card.
Yeah,
let's look.
not bad.
Let's look into the future.
All right, let's do it.
So, I don't care about this upcoming fight night at all. Any people that like, if you just really hate yourself and you want to put yourself through like a glutton of punishment and watch, some fights that fucking suck and nobody cares about, this Saturday at the UFC Apex, the main event is the 9th and 8th ranked UFC heavyweight, because UFC heavyweight main events at the Apex always go so well.
Yeah,
so
well.
We're just gonna keep doing them. Tybura versus Spivak is this Saturday.
Ugh.
Fuck them, dude. I don't even care. Then August 17th, UFC 305. That's Adesanya versus Duplessis. In Australia, you also have Kai Kara-France, Steve Erceg,
that's gonna be
Tuivasa Rosenstruck. So yeah, that'll be a good fight. Co-main and main event there are awesome. You have another fight night after that, with Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady.
Yeah, banger.
Yeah, Philly boy Sean Brady. Always looking forward to that. I want to see him get. This would be a good win for him. Right?
It would be a great win.
This would be a solid win for him. Puts him right back up in that trajectory where he needs to be. And
if he's able to finish Gilbert Burns and Bilal couldn't, it's gonna make a good point, because his loss is to Bilal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. His only loss is to the current champion.
Yep.
Right. He looked bad in that fight too. He looked bad in that fight. So we'll see. I mean, and then so that's the first week in September. Then you have the very next week, September 14th, you have UFC Noche O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. I know we've talked about this. Well, we got some announcements, right? So that's UFC 306 is Noche. Merab O'Malley, Grasso Shevchenko, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, Rosas Jr.
It's definitely
Donna
a great
Dumont.
card.
Yeah, I mean, that one's solid. So we got some announcements for UFC 307.
A couple of them, yeah.
So UFC 307, we'll see the return of Kayla Harrison. She's going to fight Ketlin Vieira at UFC 307. Kayla Harrison, who obviously beat Holly Holm at UFC 300.
Gets her crack at the top 3, I think.
Yeah, and I know we're going to have Juliana Pena versus snooze fest shit fucking boring worst fighter I've ever watched in my life, piece of shit, Raquel Pennington. I don't even care who wins that shit. I don't
either. It's going to be Kayla Harrison's belt anyway soon.
Somebody needs to save women's MMA and the women's 135-pound division, and it can only be Kayla Harrison. There's nobody else that can do it. They all suck. They're all boring. They all just yap. Juliana Pena just yaps, dude. Ugh. Shut. Somebody needs to put tape over her mouth. She's the worst. She beat Amanda Nunes on like a fluke, then got her ass beat and hadn't shut the fuck up since. You know what I mean?
think Amanda Nunes is like suffering from like the worst illness known to man.
She just had a baby. She had a baby, and then like 8 weeks later came in and fought her. And then she like beat her, and she's like, fuck yeah, I'm the best. It's like, your ass, you're trash. So Kayla Harrison on UFC 307, and then we also have Mopsar Evilov and Aljamain Sterling.
Aljamain Sterling. Now, that's a good one.
At featherweight. So we talked about the bantamweight division in depth. You obviously have... So you have Mobsar Aljamain at 145 at featherweight division, UFC 307, which is going to be in Salt Lake City, I think on October 7th or first week in October.
Sure.
The end of October, UFC 308.
Now we're talking, boys.
UFC 308, Saturday, October 26th, back in Abu Dhabi. Main event, Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway.
Fire.
Heavyweight co-main event, Cyril Gane versus Volkov. Middleweight, 185-pound, Robert Whitaker versus Hamzat Chimaev.
Fire.
Does Hamzat show up?
Dude, I really hope so. I can't, if he doesn't, he needs to be cut.
Yeah, if he doesn't, it's probably over. Light heavyweight, Muhammad Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Is this card the best card of the year?
It's not better than 300.
You don't think so?
Nah. 300 is crazy, dude.
It is, but on paper, this one is fucking good.
You haven't seen the prelims yet. The prelims are going to be filled with bullshit and maybe good fights, but like you're not going to have fucking, Cody Garbrandt, Davison Figueiredo. You're not going to have,
Bo
Brian
Nickel,
Ortega, Sadiq Youssef. You're not going to have Bo Nickel. You're not like the UFC 300 was stupid. Like,
it was.
It was stupid. There cannot be another card of the year because of that. It just can't. It can't happen. You would have to do something crazy. But I mean, either way, this is going to be great. So you have a featherweight main event at UFC 308 between Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway for the 145-pound belt. I saw a flyer that says winner takes all with the BMF belt on it, but I know it's not.
No,
I think they should do that, though, because how fucking cool would that be? And can we get back to old school UFC days to where we give UFC numbered events fucking names?
Like, oh, man.
You know what I mean?
UFC 308, baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, or just fucking UFC 308, winner takes all.
Winner takes all. Yeah, that'd be fire.
That's fucking, dude, that's so good.
That's fire.
Can we please get back to that?
That'd be fire. But then the UFC Noche, come on now. Like,
yeah,
we're naming shit.
That just means night, doesn't it? In Spanish.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's lame as fuck.
It is lame.
Dude, the flyer I saw somebody made, I apologize, I can't credit you because I don't know who you are, but it was fucking Ilya with the 45-pound strap over his head and then Max with the BMF strap over his head.
Winner take all.
I was like, fuck, that's so good.
Yeah, that would be sick.
We got to go back 20 years or whenever. Yeah, about 20 years probably where we had named events like that. Armageddon, UFC Armageddon.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
UFC Day of the Dead.
Yeah, let's get back to that shit. And this is a perfect one to bring it back. But you have this title fight and, 3 weeks prior to this, you have Mobzar Evolov and Aljamain Sterling, which arguably is a number one contender fight for the featherweight division.
That's true.
You still have Volk. That's the problem.
You
still have Alexander Volkanovski, which, like, he has to get a rematch or another shot at that title at some point.
I think he does only simply because of the two guys fighting. Because it's like if Max does beat Ilya, okay. Volkanovski has beat Max 3 times.
Right.
Ilya, beat Volk, knocked him out.
Yep.
Some may say Volk shouldn't have even took that fight to begin with. But if Ilya fails to defend his title on his first title defense, his credibility as a champion should not get a rematch.
He fights winner of if in my opinion, this is how this plays out. Ilya Holloway. If Ilya wins, he fights Volkanovski. A rematch. If Topuria beats Holloway, he fights Volkanovski in a rematch. Topuria Holloway. If Holloway wins, he fights Volkanovski in a 4th fight.
Yeah.
And Ilya fights winner of Aljamain and Mobzar Evolov.
Yeah,
and that'll be like number one contender because Topuria and Mobzar have like consistently been talking shit back and forth to each other for the longest time anyway. You know what I mean? So
because I could see if Max loses, I don't see why he doesn't go up a weight class and fight, Dustin Poirier or somebody in I
mean, he's ranked in the lightweight division, right?
Yeah, in the lightweight division.
Top 10 in lightweight, so he could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, hold on, let me pause real quick. So yeah, I feel like that's the move there, and yeah, if Max, Yeah, if Max loses, so you're saying if Max loses to Ilya,
Yeah, if he loses to Ilya, he just goes ahead and makes the move up because what's he got left? What's left after that? He's already lost to the number one rank.
right? Three
Fighter,
times. He then lost in the fight against the Cory.
lost to the champion. Like it's kind of like a Cory Sandhagen situation where he might not see that strap, But
right, but he has a strap. He has a BMF title.
That's
which
true.
That's the one to defend. Like that's the one he's just going to go to defend.
And
well, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay,
because it's a good point. Who's next? BMF title fight. Obviously, it would be at 145 or 155.
Yeah, I think what you do, and this is me saying this purely off of love for the game. If Max loses, he fights Charles Oliveira for the BMF title at lightweight.
Okay.
I like that fight. I love that fight, actually.
Okay.
Because we may see Charles and Arman, but let's just say, so Max has beat the number 3 ranked lightweight, Justin Gaethje.
Correct.
All right? So he loses, and then now he's already beat the number 3 rank, so he puts his BMF title up against Charles, and Arman fights Islam. So that's like the perfect scenario right there. You give Max a chance against Charles. He beats Charles, then he is the number 1 contender at lightweight because he's already beat the number 3. Dustin Poirier is probably not going to get another shot because he lost against Islam and he's about to ready to retire.
Well, and he already lost in the BMF fight to
and he lost to Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje anyway. So
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So and that's your number 4. So it's like Max already beat the number 3. I feel like that Charles Max is the perfect BMF fight to make after Ilya.
Yeah, I guess, right? I mean, because I don't see anybody else. That's kind of what I'm looking at, and why I wanted to bring it up. Like, who do you even have fight for a belt like that? You look at featherweight. Max already beat Brian Ortega, but you're not gonna have fucking Brian Ortega fight for the BMF.
No, but Brian Ortega's making a solid run right now too, where he could essentially, get a title shot if he wins. If he beats Diego Lopez and then wins maybe even one more, the number 1 contender fight, he may be right there in line for a title shot,
Sure.
So,
yeah. And, but I mean, you're not going to give it to Yair. You're not got a chance at BMF. You're not going to give it to Yair. You're not going to give it to fucking Mobzar.
No. I think Charles versus Max is a good fight to make for the BMF.
I think that's a good fight in general. Yeah.
It's for the people fight. And that's what the BMF is, dude. It's for the people,
It is. Yeah.
Every BMF fight we've had was for the people.
Yes. True.
So.
Yes. Very true. So that closes out the announcements I think that we have up until this point.
Yeah.
Then obviously we're expecting November 9th to be UFC 309 in Madison Square Garden, where it is believed to be John Jones versus Stipe Miocic.
Yep.
There's rumor that Tom Aspinall will be backup fighter for that fight if anything were to happen to either one of them. Is it crazy that I'd be like wanting something to happen to one of them?
Yeah, no, that's not crazy at all. I want to see Tom fight.
I just want him. Like, can he just have the undisputed title? Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, like this would be the perfect time to make another name for a fight name. It's like, UFC 309, like GOAT. And then you just give Tom the title, but you at least
call it undisputed. UFC 309 undisputed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
And then you get Stipe John. Whoever wins that, put him down as greatest heavyweight of all time. And then from there, you just go on and move on to the new era. And that's Tommy Aspinall.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need to get past this bullshit. That's why, I didn't, you brought up pound for pound rankings. Like, that's why I didn't even want to get into pound for pound rankings. I don't know if you saw, this is the only thing I'll say about the pound for pound rankings. Pound for pound rankings are current pound for pound rankings, right? We both agree on that.
Yeah, current.
Someone needs to tell that to Dana White.
I know he hates the fact that John's number 3. I heard that when him talking about it. I get it what you're saying.
Like
It is right now.
It's not the fucking GOAT list. Like he thinks it's like the GOAT. Oh, John Jones is the greatest of all time. He should be number 1 pound for pound. I don't know who makes this shit. It's like he has not fought. He fought and beat Cyril Gane. That's it.
Yeah, and that was in 2022, right?
And prior to that,
23. No, that's 23.
I don't want to get into this position of throwing shade at John Jones, because that's not my intention at all. There's no disrespect intended. It's just like, you can understand times change. These are current rankings. These are not rankings based off of what he's done over the course of his career. He doesn't belong there. He doesn't belong there. He doesn't even fight. He doesn't belong there. And the fact that, like, just get this shit over with. Let them fucking idiots fight and then have him retire. And then I don't even know who Tom's going to fight at heavyweight for a belt. He's going to fight the winner of Gane Volkov, I would assume.
Yeah.
Right? Assuming he doesn't end up fighting John Jones or Stipe, he's going to end up fighting the winner of Cyril Gane and Volkov, which is at what, 30? Is that at 308? Or no, that was at 306?
Yeah.
No, that's at 308. I'm sorry. So that's at 308 at the end of October. I mean, it lines up. That timeline works out perfect. That's the co-main event at UFC 308. Cyril Gane and Alexander Volkov.
And you know what, man? As much as I'd love to see John and Tom, I wouldn't hate John calling it if he beats Stipe. Like I don't want to see him lose to Tom. I don't want to see him. I want to see him go out undefeated. I want to see him. Right. I want to see his legacy secured. Yeah. I don't want him to go out there and lose to Tom. Would I love to see the fight? Yeah. But I don't want that as a big fan of John Jones. I don't want to see him lose. And I definitely don't want to see him lose how I think he would lose to Tom Aspinall, if I'm being fair. I wouldn't mind if he retired. I would much rather him retire and say, look,
go out on top.
I went out on top. I'm the greatest of all time. If Tom Aspinall never loses again, then, kudos to him. But I did what I needed to do in the sport. And I have nothing to prove at this point, because the fans are going to say, prove it. You got to beat him to prove it. You're the greatest of all time. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's true at all, because if we go to John Jones's prime John Jones is going to fucking wax Tom Aspinall.
Yeah. He was a light heavyweight, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, but if he was a heavyweight with the same skills that he had in lightweight, he beats Tom Aspinall.
Dangerous.
But at this stage in his career, I don't think it's fair to judge him or assess him off of a fight to Tom Aspinall, who is arguably the greatest fighter in the UFC right now.
Yeah, and he's in his prime. He's in
his prime.
Beating up
exactly.
Everybody. Yeah.
So it's like, absolutely. I don't feel like it's fair because if he was to go out there and say lose to Tom Aspinall,
right.
There are so many dipshit fucking fans that are going to discredit John's whole career the same way they did Alexander Volkanovski. It's just, I don't think it's fair, and I don't want to see John be that guy. And I think John's smart enough to know, like, I think he cherishes his career, like kind of like a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather cherishes his undefeated record, and he never wanted to put it at risk. So he made sure he did what he had to do to never do that. Same thing. I feel like it's the same scenario with John. Just he has nothing to prove. There's no reason to try to fight Tom and go out on top, because it's not. I don't think it ends well for him.
Yeah.
And then now you're going to go with your rest of your life with that over your shoulder and that you lost. I mean, I don't know. And that's me, because like if you asked me 2 months ago, I'm like, fuck yeah, John versus Tom. Let's go. Make it right now. I want to see it. But now the more I've thought about it and processed it, after seeing what Tom has done the last 2 fights, I'm like, I don't know if I want John to lose that. I don't want him to lose like that.
I mean, it still is, in my opinion, the greatest fight you can make at heavyweight currently.
Absolutely.
Even with Gane and Volkov and whatever. Like,
without a doubt.
If John says yes, it's the greatest. It could be the greatest fight we've had at heavyweight. It could be the greatest fight and matchup UFC heavyweight division has ever had.
Agree.
You have 2 of the most skillful fighters at that weight that don't fight like, these big, heavy-handed heavyweights.
This could be like and then again, I could be completely wrong, and we could see we could see a Izzy Anderson Silva all over again at heavyweight. The passing of the torch, the stylistic, comparison between John and Tom, same with Anderson and Izzy when they fought. And it was kind of like that passing of the torch, like we could see a beautiful moment, but you saw how that ended for Anderson Silva. I don't want that to happen to John.
Right. Yeah.
Because John's going to chase it again. He is.
Yeah. I think they just move on. Hopefully he fights Stipe, beats Stipe, rides off to the sunset. Then you get, Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, or Tom Aspinall, Volkov. Volkov looks dangerous. So I don't want to look past Volkov as
he's starting
Cyril Gane's going to win.
He's really good too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he got knocked out by Derek Lewis. You know what I mean? But Derek Lewis fucking knocks out. He was beating him up until that point.
Yeah, he knocks out everybody, dude. He can knock anybody out with one shot.
It only takes one shot. So, we'll see how that whole thing shakes out. But yeah, I mean, right now where we sit, it's, October or beginning of August. I'm sorry. A good pay-per-view coming in the middle of August with Duplessis and Adesanya. And then it's just burners, dude. Like even the fight night with Burns Brady, UFC Noche with O'Malley and Merab, 308 with Ilya and Max, 307. Like
we don't even know who the main event of that is yet.
You don't know who the main event of 307 is. That's going to be in Salt Lake City, first week of October. So,
and it could easily be Arman versus Islam, or it could be something of that nature.
Assuming that Islam's healthy, which we think he's not. Right, we think Islam suffered an injury that he's going to be out, so maybe there's potential. UFC 307, they put an interim lightweight title fight on UFC 307.
Wildly enough, we could see something crazy at light heavyweight too, because remember the talks of we got Magomed and Rakic, and then maybe we see something crazy with like Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Pereira. I mean.
They had something planned for Alex Pereira.
Something weird too. Like it was like wouldn't you wouldn't guess it,
Right. I don't
because he beat Jan, he beat Jamal, he beat Yuri, Rakic and Magomed are fighting. So all that leaves is Nikita Krylov. You ain't gonna make him fight Alex Pereira. Volkan, you ain't gonna let him fight Alex Pereira. Then you got Khalil Roundtree, who was supposed to fight Jamal Hill. And then that whole thing with, the testing happened, but he was on his way to potentially beating Jamal Hill and fighting for a title. So you never really know, but
unless you give him a heavyweight.
Yeah. Unless you give him
Sergey Pavlovich.
That's wild. It's a wild take. I don't think he goes up to heavyweight unless it's for a belt though. A double belt. Why would you?
Right. Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That would, if he goes up and beats Sergey, then it's like, yeah, give him the next fucking, there is no like, yeah, let him do it. It's like he just earned his way to do it.
Yeah. I don't know what they got planned for Alex Pereira.
I don't know. I mean,
it's a weird one.
I'm pretty sure Islam is hurt though, correct? We don't know what the kind of timeline on that is, but.
That main event at Salt Lake City may be Pantoja. It could be potentially Pantoja, maybe the winner of because Tatsuri Taira's on that card too, right? 307.
So Tatsuri Taira's fighting Brandon Royval.
Maybe you see Amir Albazi versus Alexander Pantoja.
Possible, yeah. You get a little flyweight main event or something.
Flyweight main event for that, because I mean the co-main is garbage. So I mean you got to have one throwout main pay per view.
For sure.
So after coming off of Noche, you have a fucking dud with a flyweight main event and Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena, and then you go into 308.
They're not on that. That's
they're not?
One with Kayla Harrison. I was just talking shit on that. That's Kayla Harrison.
Okay. Kayla Harrison.
Yeah. I don't think that they're on that anyway.
That may be it, dude.
It could be. Dude, if they're the main event of that fight, fuck.
No, there's no shot. They're going to have to put a flyweight main event just to kind of balance it out. It's like those two fights are equivalent to one good main event,
Fair point.
So,
but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else for us to talk about this week. Next week, we'll be coming off the Tybura Spivak fight night, which, I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit because as much as we talk shit about it, we're fucking watching.
We could talk about next week would be a good week to talk about it. We got Olympic wrestling all weekend, baby. So US fucking A is coming in to win freestyle and Greco-Roman. Suckers, let's fucking go. I'll be watching that all week. So we may be able to talk a little bit of USA wrestling, Olympic wrestling on
Noah Lyles just won the gold medal in a 100-meter sprint today.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's the Yu-Gi-Oh guy, right? Guy that keeps Yu-Gi-Oh cards in his chest and shit.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, so shout out to US fucking A, baby.
USA.
If anybody's watching the Olympics, let us know too. Comment down below. Let us know what you're watching. We will be watching the USA Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so next week, we'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe talk about Tybura Spivak, and then we'll do a preview of UFC 305 Duplessis versus Adesanya, which, has a lot of implications. Weight, it's for the belt. A lot of bad blood there too. Those motherfuckers do not like each other. So that should
we'll see who's really African.
Yeah. Dude. Okay. UFC 305. UFC 305.
King of the Congo.
Oh shit. Yeah. Wait, what were what was Rumble in the Jungle?
Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
That's
fire.
fire.
It's in Australia. This is in Australia, so it doesn't really make sense, but that's what they did right with Ali back in the day. So but yeah, the real African. You can't really do that as a poster, but maybe you could do 305.
Imagine they fucking dressed Duplessis up and all the South African shit and put it on a poster, and then they had Izzy all dressed up and shit, and then they just that would be fire.
That would be sick. So all right, we're out of here. On to the next one. And,
yes, sir. Welcome back, Murky. Glad to have you back, man.
Fuck yeah, baby. Don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube, like the video, comment down below if you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Turn on automatic downloads. Rate the show 5 stars. Share it with your mom, your sisters, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, whoever. Let them know you have and about the #1 MMA podcast in the game.
Yep. And fuck spinning back fist.